big up, and welcome. Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever I'm reaching you in the world. I appreciate you joining us on the Liverpool 12th Man show. I'm the Liverpool 12th Man just as much as you are if you're a Red supporter. And I am here to do a preview show of the Chelsea matchup. Big up the Drunk Vigo. Yes, definitely pick up the drink. You go and pick up the Red for Life. And as always, my Newman brother. Oh man, the Mancunian Blue. How are you, everyone out there? I'm also joined with Brian as well today. Brian, how are you doing?
Very well, very well. I hope everyone watching is doing well and having a great weekend.
Absolutely. I know that there's a bunch going on in the world right now. I was just telling you about like the some of the affairs of or some of the things I got into last night. Um and yeah, got there's a bunch of stuff going on tonight, and then we have a big morning, big morning for me
Well,
and you as well. At least a morning for me. I it depends on where you are in the world to be watching this. I'm sure it's gonna be like afternoon or evening game for most of you that are watching it in the world. But big up to John Conway. I see you, brother. Big up. Good to see you. Hope that you're well, by the way. Um, we wanted to get into this game. You guys got to tell me. Definitely be sure to get your score predictions and your scorers of the game tomorrow. A bunch of fun little things going on today. We saw couple of I guess you call them upsets, a couple of shocker games today. It's kind of different because the game that we're focusing on isn't involved in our Premier League pursuits. So that's a difference. It's kind of interesting watching other teams play, today and hearing about the games for tomorrow and knowing that, none of it has to do with us. You're our blue blood brother in the house here. His team got a 1-0 victory away on the road. They keep picking up points despite not necessarily being on some next level scoring terms. I would say the least, or you could say the least. But all the same, the Premier League is not necessarily our focus today, as this man right here. Let me give a little salute to Agent Cody. Our pursuits are the Carabao Cup. Once again, we find our foe, Chelsea, looking straight dab right back at us, wanting to get revenge, wanting to lift this trophy for themselves. What are your thoughts on the game? Do you have any? Are you anxious? Are you optimistic, pessimistic? Are you what are your thoughts on this game? Do you have fears of this game or the energy drink cup? Yes, it is.
yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I'm nervous about it. Not too not sort of fearful because sort of cup final energy is usually anything can happen. An early
Mhm.
goal is, but it's the old Mike Tyson adage. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. So I
Yep.
think Chelsea will have a plan for us. We won't be able to kind of we're talking about it there the other night on Rod. Someone was saying like where are we going to target Chelsea's weakness, and it was kind of like I'm not sure we're in that position to be able to
Mhm.
pick and choose. Say we're going to play this guy and target him. I think our main kind of focus should just be getting the 11 out there because if the two boys aren't ready to start, then we're looking at the same team basically that played against Thingy at the weekend with Canadian instead. And we're asking, so it's basically about just getting our team out there, play the best. And look, I have kind of see because we're a target for them now. We've beaten them twice in two cup finals. They have a lot of
Yeah.
motivation to beat us,
Yeah. I agree with
and
you completely on that. Yep.
got some good players. So it's going to be a real proper game.
Hmm.
And I'm just a bit nervous about, it. But like I'm always like it's before a final, you get nervous. but whether it's not too negative, but like they do have Badashile out potentially, which is a bit of a blow for them. Like they do have they have a pretty much a fit team, but they have three or four kind of first team injuries, and three of them are in defence. Luckily enough for us, like you could have James, Thiago Silva, and Badashile could be out, or maybe Badashile is back. So they're not entirely kind of comfortable to set up. They can't say, "Oh, we have our best 12 out there, our best 11 out there." So I think we can get at them that way because it's going to be like a Gusto, Dizazi, Chilwell, and maybe someone else you could be looking at. That's
Mhm.
not a great defense. So I think an early goal for us would be fantastic. That would be absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And that settled the nerves. Then that would settle the nerves.
I mean, we could be in a different situation. We could be looking at it like Newcastle was looking at their game today. I just saw that update that Karius is starting
Yeah.
for Newcastle today against Arsenal. Good luck to him. Good luck to him as the former Red now takes on the goalposts of or keeping out the goals for Newcastle against Arsenal. But I agree with you completely that they have a lot to play for. Chelsea has a lot to play for. I mean, obviously, anyone going for a cup final silverware is a lot to play for by itself. But they have a lot to play for in that getting a victory, especially getting a cup, would be immense for them. It would kind of like help ease the tensions of a lackluster year for Chelsea. But the sheer fact that we did beat them so badly at Anfield, the sheer fact that we've beaten them in this cup before, I'm sure is certainly looming in their minds. Let me see. Nicholas Jackson up front, moving like Jermaine Jackson.
Like I'm looking at Thiago Silva there with a groin injury, Badashile, who has a muscle injury. Cucurella is definitely out. James definitely out. Fofana is definitely out. So even if Thiago Silva is fit, he's been poor this year, like because he's nearly 50. And at one point,
Don't tell us this is that. Don't tell us this is that. Yeah.
The drop off is deep. When
right.
it hits, it hits very quickly. And he was
when that cliff hits, it's that's why they call it a cliff. Like most people say, they fall off a cliff, and that, once you get to that edge of that cliff and you go over, you fall dramatically. Yeah, for sure.
Like I think Caldwell maybe, so you could look Dizazi and Caldwell, then Gusto and Chilwell.
Yeah,
I reckon that's what we might be looking at there.
Yeah,
that's overly worry me. It's not. It doesn't scream world class defense.
I have. Well, if you want to let's get into it then. I do have a actual presentation that I put together, and I did put together a actual predicted lineup. I know that some of these people will, like you said, won't be necessarily involved in the game because they are injured. So let me just pull up this. Let me pull this up here. All right, I bring it in for the audience. All right. So this is the predicted lineup. I do have Thiago Silva in the lineup, but you said like he is drop. Yeah, definitely. Lab Cabin, California, definitely. Far Side, like a drop like that. I don't know if you guys know who Far Side is or not. Far Side's a cool band if you haven't heard of them. This is the lineup that I do have for us. I know that Thiago Silva is, as Brian was saying, is like you're saying he's a doubt. He's like a possibility. He might play, he might not play, right? or
Yeah,
is he?
he's a
Yeah,
groin injury, but he's not like
he's not.
unless
Not really.
unless there's another thing that I've missed. But he's not guaranteed. But I reckon yeah, if he does, it's fair enough to put him in there because if he is fit, he'll probably start.
He'll play. Yeah, he'll definitely play. Um, if he doesn't play, hmm, I have this lineup here. This was like somewhat more so the lineup that like faced us, like as, and I think they probably would go with the lineup that kind of that they already somewhat faced us in. Um, let's see. Let's put together a better concept then of what we're going to see. I'll give you guys a little like uh little treat while I pull this up here for us. All right. And I think they're going to go. I think they're going to stay with a 4-2-3-1. That much I think is going to stay consistent. Right there. All right. I think they're going to stay in a 4-2-3-1. I'll pull that. I know I'm giving you a little eye candy with the old school photo there.
One of the best kits ever.
Let's see. Let's share this tab, and we're gonna. Oh yeah. Oh, iconic, right?
Yeah.
Iconic. Some great individuals in the photo too. You know, whether
Well,
it's
shout out
Reese,
to if you
Dirk
pop it
Kuyt.
back up. If you pop it back up, there's a prize for the
Yeah,
first person to name who the guy on the far right is. Furthest right of the photo. On the left as you look at
that's
it. Yeah, it's for the chat. It's for the chat.
oh far. Oh, it's for the chat. Okay.
So far left as you look at it. Yeah, yeah. Far
um.
left as you look at the photo. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Um. Great picture though. Great photo. Some great
Yeah.
individuals there too. Right? Actually, some really good players for us. Some really good players
Oh,
for us for sure.
Daniel Agger, man. Another guy. Like it's not like he had to retire at 25 or anything, but he was pretty much done by 30, 31. Never really
Yeah.
could get a kind of a even 8 months together, let alone say 2 or 3 good seasons. But I think technically one of yeah, like technically gifted in terms of that, like one of our best ever, one of our best ever centre halves, modern era definitely. What a
Yeah.
what a footballer.
Yeah. Really good player. Really good player for sure.
Did no one guess
Um.
it yet? Do you know who it is?
Oh, I stopped looking. I was putting in the players. I was putting the players here. Let's see who it. I gotta see who it is. Hmm.
Yeah, the guy behind Stevie's fist that isn't Dirk Kuyt, the other guy.
No. Well, Dirk Kuyt is the one on the other side. I know.
Yeah, on Steve
Um.
to the left of Stevie.
I'm looking to see who that is.
Anyone in the chat know who it is? Come on, 5 points quickly. You're going to run out of time. 5 points up for grab
5 points, 5 pointer right here.
for the first person in.
I'll let everyone do that while I put in some of these players so we can at least get some of the names started populated on the possible updated lineup for them, because I think this lineup might be a little bit closer to what you're displaying. Let's see. Colville and Chilwell. All right, I'll bring this up while I put them in. So the reason why I was going to give you an updated lineup possibility for it is because of some of the people that we're saying. If Thiago Silva doesn't start, we could possibly see this as being a lineup.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that goalkeeper either. I don't know much about that keeper. He might. I don't like people. A lot of people wouldn't even know that guy's playing in goal for one of the, you know, the richest teams in the world. Like,
Mhm.
weird. He's just come out of nowhere, and Sanchez lost his place. I know he got injured then lost his place, but this guy seems to have kept his spot. So we don't want to find out tomorrow that he's the reincarnation of Lev Yashin or something, the best keeper on the planet, because that would be very, very, very Liverpool look at the finals. Find out this guy is unbeatable.
Petrovic? You talking about?
Yeah. I'd never even heard of him before he came in. Well, yeah. See, that's what I think
Yeah.
they could do something like that if they have no choice. It looks like they're if Thiago Silva, like Caldwell, if Caldwell could play, not left back, they'd be playing a back. They'd be playing a kind of a back five then if they were Caldwell at left back. Yeah, if Thiago's out, I don't see what they do apart from that.
I think
Unless
I think their midfield is pretty much their attackers. I was gonna say their attackers are pretty much what we expect, or I think we'll see the attackers to be what we all somewhat expect to see. But like as far as their defense, it could be a little bit of a different story. Yeah,
we're
could be a
going to
little
have to wait.
story.
I reckon because it's a cup final, they'll be doing what we'll be doing, which is they'll be leaving like late fitness tests on people. Like there'll be guys getting fitness tests 2 hours before the match to see if they're fit enough to play or not. They'll be giving them not 2 hours, but they'll give them until tomorrow morning to see how they are. Like if they're out, they'll be ruled out by tonight. But if there's any chance, like if, say for instance, like Nunes, Klopp might not know tonight that Nunes is definitely not playing, but we're going to wait and see how Mo feels in the morning, or vice versa. I reckon Chelsea will be doing the same with Thiago and anybody else that's kind of 50-50. Like Nkunku, I'd be expecting him to start, unless he's had a setback. I don't know if he's had a setback.
I mean, yeah, I was thinking that it says something if they don't start. I think they're going to start. They should start, or possibly will start Jackson. Probably have Sterling on the left.
I'd put Jackson there. Yeah, I'd put Sterling. Yeah, there. Cole Palmer will definitely start. We know that as well. He's 100% guaranteed to start.
I think Jackson's pretty much a solid shout. I think that the sixth in the six in front are pretty much a given. Like as in, unless they're hurt or obviously injured, I don't think we would see them then, of course. But trying to think who would start on the right. Probably Cole Palmer will start because Cole Palmer has started for them at the striker occasionally.
Cole Palmer is guaranteed to start for them, guaranteed. So yeah, maybe he won't. It'll either be Jackson or Nkunku up front. Jackson or Nkunku up front, then Palmer, and then the three lads in the middle. Yeah, Gallagher and Caicedo and Endor definitely start. So yeah, I think that to me looks that front six or that front four is what I'd expect. Yeah, what I'd expect to see.
Yeah, so this is what I would see then for that. Let's see.
That's what I think. That's what I think they'll do.
Yeah.
I think as well. Yeah. I don't think they change formation. I think that front, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. 6 players, I think. Unless it's an Nkunku.
And I wouldn't be, you're right. You know what? Yeah, I wouldn't be absolutely surprised if they did that. If they what am I looking for? If they had Nkunku start, because since he did come in that Anfield game, got a goal. Obviously, he's a problem for a lot of defenses because of his pace and because of his pure ability. But yeah, I think that you're right. Like, as in, most likely you'll obviously see Enzo. You'll obviously see pretty much Casado. You'll certainly see Gallagher. That's their captain. Palmer's pretty much a nailed in, like sharpied in start. Sterling's a pretty much a sharpied in start as well. It should be. What's that?
It's just that spot up front.
Yeah, it's just a spot up front that's like a question mark.
Does he? Yeah, does he go?
Whether they go right, if they go as far as to like.
Has he picked up a bit lately? He seems like, I mean, he couldn't have got much much worse, but I'm not saying he's firing on all cylinders or anything now, but I think he's kind of picked up a little bit. Nkunku is a hell of a weapon to be able to bring on. If they don't start him, great player to be able to bring on.
For sure. That's a good question. That's a very good question. Did anyone answer the picture question? So I do have a feeling. I do have a feeling of. I think I know who that is actually.
Okay, you go for it though.
Is that possibly is that there was a player that you brought in as a into the mix for for our legends segment, Premier League legends for Liverpool? Is that Igor?
No.
No, am I wrong?
Oh. No.
Let me take another guess. Oh, you know who that is? Maybe is that
One more guess.
Henchos?
No.
Right?
No.
That's not him either?
No, Hancho was blonde.
Oh, my bad. I'm thinking who that could even be then.
No, I'm going to give it to you. It's Bolo's ending.
Oh, wow. I probably wouldn't have gotten that.
Yeah, that's Bolo's ending.
I probably wouldn't have gotten it.
Yeah, a forgotten-ish, kind of forgotten-ish Liverpool player.
Yeah.
But
what number was he? What number was he?
He played everywhere, man.
No. What was his kit number? I meant. That's all I meant.
Oh, he's wearing 20 something in that pick. He's 2, so 20, 23 or 20, something like that. It was one of those weird numbers.
I think that's 2 was his last number, so 22.
Is it? Yeah, he's got one of those. Could have been 12. Yeah, he wasn't like a 1 to 11. He didn't have a 1 to 11 number. He always had one of the subs numbers, like 14 or whatever, 18 or 22 or something like that. One of those kind of the archetypal Dutch player that he played centre mid, left wing, right wing, but wasn't and very typical of that Liverpool team. Was good at them all, but wasn't amazing at them. Like we had the kind of the B-Tech version of everything back in those days, apart from 1 or 2 players. And Bolo's ending, a bit of a Rafa job. I think he has a Champions League, man. Yeah, he does. He has a Champions League, man. But he's in that picture. He's a bit of a pub quiz answer with old Bolo's ending.
That is a pub quiz answer. That stumped me. That definitely stumped me. But yeah, good team though. Very good team.
Great days.
So anyways, yeah, so I do think that a lot of what we'll see tomorrow will be a lot of. Do you think we're going to see that? You think we're going to see Chelsea go toe to toe with us, or do you think they're going to sit back and kind of like, concede giving us the ball a little bit and trying to hit us on the break and trying to get Jackson in behind or even Nkunku behind or something like that?
I think he'll go tactical at the start, and by that I mean kind of strong, hold their shape. I don't see them again, unless he goes, hey lads, for the first 10 minutes we're just going to go nuts, full kamikaze here. Maybe he does that,
Mhm.
but he's more like kind of manager. He's gonna look at that and go, we can win the midfield battle. I think that's
Mhm.
what he's gonna look at, keeping it tight early on, kind of try and dominate it, try and kind of take
Mhm.
the foothold in the game, like get on the front foot. But if we can play yeah, I think he's not going to go like ultra conservative defensive. But I think be very much hold the shape, let Enzo and Caicedo start to run the game, and then slowly get their players into it. I don't see
Mhm.
him having
Mhm.
I don't see him kind of coming at us all out attack. Look, I don't know. Yeah, he'll play it tactical. I think he'll fancy them to win it. I think he'll look at our players we
Okay.
have, and I think he'll fancy himself with his team, and so he won't rush it. Basically, is what I suppose I'm trying to say. He's not going to rush it tomorrow, so we might have to. If it'd be nice if we could kind of get a bit of a head of steam up early and try and break them open early because they're going to try and do it more tactically. But I just don't want a boring game. I don't want 0-0 at halftime. As something happened early and
Yeah.
opened the game up. Because those games they
Yeah.
just never opened
Yeah.
up the previous ones. They just got more. The more they went on, the more likely they were to be 0-0. But if you're 1-0 down, you've
Mhm.
got to do something about it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right on it. You're absolutely right about that. I have some pretty cool little statistics or little like things I saw upon my like reading about the history of this game and everything else. Chelsea and Liverpool have met in two previous League Cup finals, 2005 and 2022, and 2000 previous FA Cup finals of 2012 and 2022. This will be the first fixture to have been played in 5 different major domestic finals in English football history. That's a pretty interesting stat. Um,
That's what everyone
Liverpool.
forgets as well. Sorry, in
Mhm.
'05 when we won the Champions League and we were going up against Chelsea in the
Mhm.
semi-finals, everyone remembers
Mhm.
that. But you know, people forget that we also played we also had a cup final against them that season.
Yeah,
There's
it
an
gets
awful lot
overlooked
of big,
certainly. Yeah,
there's
it
an
gets
awful lot of big
overlooked.
Chelsea v Liverpool games from that period. They
There
stick. That's
are.
why I don't like them. That's why I don't like them. Is because of that era, that Mourinho v Benitez type era, is when I really started to dislike them, and I have never forgotten
Mhm.
that. Some of the best matches in their history, best atmospheres, biggest games, absolutely amazing games.
Mhm.
That's some of that still lingers. Like obviously they're in a completely different position now than they were when Mourinho was there. They're what are they in the league? 14th, 12th, 10th, something stupid.
I think they were last they're
Well,
10th the last time I looked. They might be lower, but I can double check for
I
you.
thought I thought you were going to say they were last seen in 14th.
Um, we were speaking on no, yeah. Yeah. No, I didn't say it like that. I was gonna say, I'm just trying to think of like I think of what year that was. I was gonna ask you for the 2005, here's a can anyone name the 2000, not even 2005, let's go with what 2000, when did we play Birmingham City? We played them in the final.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
in
2001 we played
2001.
Birmingham.
Yeah, Robbie
Yeah,
Fowler
2001,
goal.
right?
Unbelievable Robbie
Okay.
Fowler
Okay.
goal.
Who was the man of the match of that game? Can anyone name that man of the match?
The official man of the match in the League Cup final game against Birmingham.
2001 League Cup final man of the match. So if you
Okay,
don't
because
remember,
I
we
remember
should
the
do that
game.
too. Kind of like, it'd be kind of cool if like we should make like next in the next final appearance. What I'll do is I'll make like a trivia. I'll make like a little trivia game before. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Kick back on some history, but we can
Because
do
I
a
remember the
improv
game.
style.
Yeah, I remember the game because we went to a massive pub. I'd only just moved to Dublin. I only lived in
Mm-hmm.
Dublin for about 3 months. We went to a huge, big. It's a famous pub in Dublin for watching Liverpool games. It's an old. It's enormous. Even by American standards, this would be a big pub.
Mm.
Um, I bet 20 screens in it, and this is back in 2001, and they had one cinema screen, like an actual cinema screen, because it was an old
Mm-hmm.
theater,
Mm-hmm.
and about
Oh,
four
that's
different
pretty
levels.
cool. That's super
Oh,
cool.
yeah. Four different levels, all in one big horseshoe, and on every level, like it was ringing around, so you'd look down at, but each level would have like 8 different TVs, so you couldn't look in any direction without watching the match, basically. And I remember that Fowler goal, that whole pub just erupting, but
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you, so I guess Emil Heskey.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. That was not him.
Oh,
It was
man,
not.
no,
It was
okay.
not. It was not. I'm seeing the Chelsea hate that's going on right now in the chat. I'm sorry. Um, Someone getting a little bit crazy with the. We can all have banter, but we don't have to necessarily, take it a little bit too far there, Sam. I don't know exactly where you are from in the world, but if you haven't noticed, Liverpool is a global team, so they have fans and supporters from all over the world. I don't know where you are from. Anyway,
That's 12 man has a classic northern Liverpool accent. So obviously haven't been
I
there.
do. I do. You obviously have not been there, Sam.
Sam Joe sounds like a proper Londoner as well. So
Yeah,
let's
exactly.
not go down let's not go down that route, eh?
Yeah, exactly, man. Let's let go down that route. You were all right. So let's see if the chat has any answers. Did the chat put any answers in? No, the chat didn't put any answers in. I'll just give it to you. You had the man, you named him. It was Robbie Fowler.
Oh, Robbie got the goal on the man of the match. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, what that is. Every time I remember that goal, it gets further out. You know how that works in your head.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah, I know
at
exactly.
this stage, like he's like 45 yards out. He's only about 25, but like in my head, he's nearly on the halfway line, volleying it in. You know, but
Right, right.
yeah, yeah, that's what time does. But Robbie Fowler, man,
Yeah. Yep.
Robbie.
Robbie Fowler.
Oh, what a
He was the
player!
man of the match.
What a player!
As you said, he had that great goal in that game. That game went to penalty shootout too, as well. It went to a penalty shootout. I'm trying
Look
to
where
think.
Birmingham are now.
Yeah, they missed. We won 4-5 in penalties. Granger and Johnson missed for them, and Hammond missed for us. Yeah, and they got a penalty in the 90th minute too. That's what sent it to penalty kicks, sent it to pens,
Yeah,
basically
extra
after
time,
extra
yeah,
time and everything. Right.
yeah.
Um,
That was the Houllier era. That was when we were. No one would want to admit it, but we were a cup team. That's what we were back then. We
mm,
were a cup, but we won them all.
mm,
With the difference, a lot of teams are cup teams, but we weren't winning leagues. We were seventh and eighth and all this nonsense. But we regularly competed against the best in the cups and
mhm.
won them. So they were barren times, but there was always trophies
Yeah.
along the way.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
that treble, like that
Absolutely. I
treble is a
mean,
nothing treble for a lot of people. That treble is, they call it the plastic treble. They like to take this out of it, but because it's the second tier European competition, and we didn't win the league, but it's still 3 trophies in one season, and
mhm.
very few clubs ever do that when they're being a top flight club and
You
winning the
have
two.
that. Yeah, can never say
Yeah. It's still an
exactly.
amazing season.
Exactly. That's an
It's
amazing.
you know,
Yeah.
it's great, and it's the most important thing is when you have a season like that, you get to play 3 finals, and it's just straight. It's the original point. It's brilliant fun. Forget whether it's this
Yeah.
or that. Going to finals and playing in finals and you're on TV and watching your team, that's just brilliant fun. And to do it 3 times in
Yeah.
one season.
Yeah. It says something about your team as well, about the reserve and resolve, I should say, that they have to be able to get through something like that. It's not an easy accomplishment at all.
Because do you
Not easy
remember the
accomplishment at
amount
all.
the Alves won? It's something that doesn't happen again. Like we won that on the golden goal. Do you remember that one?
Yeah. That
It
doesn't
was four
happen. That
four.
doesn't happen really
Yeah.
at all. That
No,
was
that's
like,
gone now.
yeah, remember the
I
golden
think that
goals?
only, what did it last, 2 years maybe? I think it may have only even lasted one season, 2 seasons max.
Yeah.
And they had it in a World
Yeah.
Cup. And yeah, it was 4-4, goes in, and then boom, Gary McAllister,
Mm-hmm.
goal, game over, heartbreak for Alves.
Mm-hmm.
Alves.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that rule. I mean,
Did
that's
you
just
like the golden? Did you like the golden goals?
no,
Did you
no,
like golden
no.
goals being a part of the game, or did you? Okay,
Yeah, no, no. I thought that was so
they're
unfair. I
trying to
thought
do.
because it's dramatic and all that, but it is kind of unfair. And especially back then, you had
Right.
no bar. You could have easily gotten a goal that
Mhm.
shouldn't have been given. So yeah, I was happy with extra time penalties, or just go straight to penalties. I would have preferred that. I didn't like golden goal at all. Well, that's why they got rid
Yeah.
of it. Nobody really, I suppose. If it was good, it wouldn't have been scrapped, I suppose.
Yeah, I get you. I get you. But I mean, I get you. What's
Like he have
funny
it in
is
a couple of sports, don't he? We have it in. You do have some version, like in ice hockey. Is it ice hockey or something?
yeah, yeah.
Do you have
Ice
some
hockey
version of
has
the basketball?
pretty much like all the NFL and the NFL and ice hockey both have like a version of it. If you score in the NHL for hockey, you win. In overtime, you'll win. And if you score, it's a little bit different in NFL now. It used to be if you score first, you used to win, and now it's you. They give the other team an opportunity to have a shot at scoring as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, but
Yeah, because you don't like draws. You just
but
don't
yeah,
like draws.
yeah. They don't like. We don't like. We want a conclusion to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's speaking of fun Caribou Cups. Actually, I don't even think it was the Caribou Cup at that time. I think it was still the Carling Cup, right? In
Oh, back
2012,
then.
2011, 2012.
Oh, in
In
012.
2011, 2012, 2011, 2012, we
Oh,
faced off against Cardiff City in the League Cup final, and we ended up going to I think we went to penalties in that one too, right? Do you remember the 2011, 2012 one?
oh, I
It
remember
was against
Cardinals. Yeah.
Cardiff
Yeah.
City.
Yeah.
We went to extra time. Ended up it was 2-2. We went to extra time, and then I want to say we won. We won in extra time or penalties. But the really reason why I'm bringing that up is I wanted to ask the chat and even Brian himself if they could name the man of the match of the 2011-2012 Football League Cup. If you could
Was it
name
a
the
Liverpool player?
it was a Liverpool. It was a
Oh,
Liverpool.
okay.
We won the 2011-2012 game. We won it was 2-2. We won 3-2 in penalties. I think we won 3-2 in penalties. But I'll have to look that up then. I'll double check to make sure I'm right on that one. Hold on, double check. But I do remember. I'm only asking you if you remember who the man of the match was because he's a very unlikely candidate to be man of the match. That might be giving a clue too much. You know. Do you want me to give you the lineup to help you guys out, or is that too much too?
That would help. Yes.
Okay.
That would
Okay.
definitely help.
So Pepe was in goal. Glenn Johnson was our right back. Skirtle and Nagar were both our center back pair. Jose Enrique was our left back. Of course, our legend Steven Gerrard was our center mid. Charlie Adam was a center mid for us. On right wing, we had Jordan Henderson as our right winger. So that's a weird shout. Attacking mid was Suarez. Left wing was Stuart Downing, and center forward was Andy Carroll. We had substitutes of Donnie was a substitute. Jamie Carragher came in as a substitute. Martin Kelly came in as a substitute. Maxi Rodriguez. Oh, I like Maxi. I like Maxi. He was cool.
Maxi's a legend, man. Maxi's
Yeah,
a legend.
I really like Maxi. Jay Spearing was another substitute. Dirk
Still at the
Kuyt
club.
was a substitute, and Craig Bellamy was a substitute.
Oh God, I hate that transfer so
It's a
much.
lot of names on that list, and our manager was King Kenny. Is just so if anyone wants to know or was wondering.
I hated when we signed Bellamy so much.
Beyond like when he was already kind of past his prime,
He
or
was
the
just
injuries and
never that
stuff.
good. He was just so mid, as the kids would say. He was, he was everything that was wrong with Rafa, where Rafa was prioritizing hard work over ability, and he was doing it too much. Like we talk about all the time now, how important hard work is, of course, but Rafa went too far, and we can only attract this. But it was basically a signing that was indicative of exactly the type of player that we could attract. We couldn't attract the top one. The best that we could get was a Bellingham. It was just so depressing.
That final, or not that, or yeah, is this the one I'm speaking on? Let me double check, make sure. Yes. So this is the 2011-2012 final. Again, Cardiff was who we faced off against. We went to penalties. That I do remember that final, primarily because of Gerrard missed his penalty kick in that final. We missed our first two penalty kicks in that final, which was pretty crazy. Miller missed for them, Gerrard missed for us. Then Cowie scored, then Adam missed for us, and it did not look good, But then they missed, and then they missed, and they had who was their? They had one too. They had a Gerrard of their own, actually. He was one of your Irish brethren, actually. Anthony Gerrard.
That's his cousin.
That's his cousin. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's always been close to Gerrard, very close to him. But never had to.
On purpose? Are you saying he missed on purpose?
No,
because he missed as well. He missed as well. That's why.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking that Liam Miller was on that team as well. Liam Miller was playing
for them. Yes, Miller took their first penalty and missed it. Yeah, Miller took their first penalty. Kenny Miller, right? He's Scottish, right?
Oh, okay. I thought it was Liam Miller. Right, Liam Miller. I thought he played for. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to go with the man of the match. Man of the match for that.
Man of the match. Yeah, let's see if you guys get the man of the match. Then we'll get back into
Charlie Adam
bringing up all this stuff. Who'd you say? Oh, that's a good shout. It's a good shout. Let me see if the chat has any guesses. Does the chat have any guesses by any chance? Because
well, when you said it wasn't obvious.
Oh, I know. Well, it's when you hear the name, it's not going to be. It's still going to stay there. Stuart Downing was the man of the match. Stuart Downing.
Well done, Stuart. Thanks for that one thing that you did. Awful. A horrible transfer.
There you go. We got love for you, Stuart. You brought us a cup. That's good.
Zero league assist for a guy who was like a left winger back in the days when left wingers had a left foot.
That was their main thing.
Yeah,
was to give assists.
Cross the ball. Like they were like,
and on top of that, you're either crossing it to like Gerrard, or you're crossing it to Suarez, or you're crossing it to Andy Carroll. Those are people that are the main targets probably for you.
No, but that's how simple it was back then, and that's like when Klopp talks about how simple football is. It is sometimes very simple, but the whole idea was Stuart Downing, second best crosser of the ball in the league at the time from left winger. Andy Carroll, best header of a ball in the league. I mean, it wasn't that. It was no more difficult than that. That was the science behind it, and runner, but that should get you 10, 15 goals a season in between direct assists for Carl, headers getting put in by someone else or whatever. But yeah, not like zero, nothing, nada, not one.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, Henderson was the one that was seen as the worst sign.
Mm-hmm.
But Stuart Downing really stank the place out really badly. Like we spent a long time trying to buy a left winger and we could never do it. And we're just lucky that left wingers aren't a thing anymore, and everyone plays on the opposite side now because we just couldn't get one. And Downing, I think, probably the worst of a lot. Like second, that era of King Kenny wasn't great in terms of the players that he brought in, apart from
Yeah.
Suarez. And I'm not sure. I don't. I think that was like Kenny had nothing to do with bringing these players in.
Well,
he came back in
He
retirement.
brought Carroll too. Carroll was
Yeah,
a big
but he
signing.
was there when he came. But I mean, they were proper Damien Comolli signings, director of football signings, FSG signings. I mean, Kenny was
I
basically
thought
in
he was.
retirement.
I thought he was behind. I thought he was like really supportive and behind the Carroll signing.
Oh yeah, look, no, he did the manager stuff, but I mean, it was
Right.
they weren't Kenny's list of these are the players I want. It was Kenny coming in, going working with the club
Mm-hmm.
in a time when he knew we needed someone to come in. Like they say, he was basically in retirement, and he came back in. So the club would have been saying these are the
Yeah,
players.
yeah. But he was
You
up.
know,
Yeah, he was in a. Because I remember that he was in a. Whatchamacallit, like a a office job basically for
yeah,
back office
basically
job
just an
for.
ambassador. Yeah, he was pretty much just an
Yeah,
ambassador. So,
yeah.
and did you
And then
see
they then they brought him back. I remember that.
the HITC Sevens video that he did today? Greatest debut seasons of all time.
I will watch it as soon as we're done
Yeah,
this. I will watch
Kenny.
it as soon as we're done
Yeah,
this.
he has Kenny's first season at Liverpool, and it's amazing to look back on just how good he was. Like, I mean,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
um, we could do with something like that today.
Um, let's see. What else? Oh, you know what's really great about this? So Liverpool has 44 appearances at Wembley, 22 wins to the day at Wembley. Obviously, that includes other competitions. And then this will be obviously our attempt to make it a 10th. And by doing so, it will help separate us from our nearest competitor, who for a good period of time, basically, let's be honest, this cup was pretty much owned by Manchester City for a good segment of our past,
Oh,
remembrance
it's Pep Cup. Yeah, it was Pep's Cup for a while.
Yeah, from I'd
He
say
said
probably
it.
around 2014 to 2020, maybe 2021, I think.
Yeah, he
When's
said
the
it.
last
It's
time they
like
won?
why would you not want to win something that early in the season? He said it's the
Yeah,
best thing you can do is get that winning feeling. It's like that's why I always go strong in it. People are saying
yeah,
it's like the lowest competition, but why do you always put out a really strong team? Because
yeah.
you can't beat that winning feeling in the camp as early because you're saying because it's played so early in the season. You can have
Mm-hmm,
2.5 months of a season left, and you still got, or well, 2 months, and you got a trophy already. He said you
mm-hmm,
can't beat that.
mm-hmm. Yeah, you really can't. You really can't. Definitely can't. Of the 9 previous League Cup final victories, only 2 were achieved inside of 90 minutes. That was in 1995 and in 2003. The other 7 went to extra time, or penalty shootouts or replays. Now, there
Yeah,
was a point in time when they had replays for these games, which is pretty incredible. Have a replay.
exactly. A week later on a Tuesday night when nobody would watch it because
Right.
nobody was getting a second ticket. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just random replay it about 5 days later.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. The Reds have the record for the fastest goal ever. And guess what? It came against Chelsea. John Henry scored in 45 seconds in the 2005 appearance. Unfortunately, in that game, we lost to the Blues 3-2 in extra time. What else is another cool little stat? We're unbeaten in the last 8 meetings we've had with Chelsea. I think the last time they won was 2021 when they, I think Mason, I want to say Mason had that goal in that game. Am I right or wrong? I'm pretty sure that Mason had that goal, and it was at Anfield. I think that was during like the COVID. Wasn't that during the COVID years too?
2021 would be COVID,
yeah. The Reds have also kept 4 clean sheets in the last 6 encounters. And you know what's a really cool stat, and something that it's like I know that not everyone's a better out there. I sometimes am known to place a healthy wager or two. Or two. Cody Hackpo has scored in every round of this season's competition so far.
Oh, we love a couple. Oh, we like that. Now we like that.
Yeah,
we like
that.
We had a situation like that with Minamino when he was top scorer in both of our League Cup both of our cup campaigns. He top scored in both of them when we got to both finals and won both cups.
Yep. Yeah.
So I like that. So when someone has a feel for a competition, which isn't a real thing, by the way, but someone just gets that. Footballers are very superstitious people in the main, not all of them, but they love their little things like, well, I always score in this competition, or I always score at that ground. You know, they'll forget the times they didn't, but they love to have things like that. So I think you can almost definitely have a few quid on Cody tomorrow.
Hey, you know what be another bet that I'm eyeing up at least? Luis Diaz, our lovable Lucho, could become only the 3rd Liverpool player in history to score against Chelsea in 3 different games in the same season. And the other 2 can, if you want, they're two very famous names. So if you want, I can give you a shot at name the other two people that are in this list. One is a player in the 60s, and another is a player during the 70s. I'll give you that hint.
So to score in 3 games against Chelsea in the same season?
Yes.
Okay, and one's from the 60s and one's from the 70s. Oof. 60s Liverpool players. Billy Little?
No. I'll give you another shot. Another shot.
I'll go for the 70s guy. 70s guy.
Big Keegan? all very, very prominent big names in Liverpool history.
Keegan?
Nope. No. That's a good shout though. That's a very good shout. It was do you want to take another shot, or you want I can give you
the 60s guy, no, I won't guess the 60s guy. So
the 70s individual was 1977, 1978. It was King Kenny.
Oh well, I would have I should have said Kenny, but I thought it was too obvious after we'd just been talking about him. But that's my quiz brain. My quiz brain worked too, because I think it's too obvious and blah blah.
Exactly. No. I mean, you should have known. I mean, like I gave you the hints from before on a couple other little makeshift or impromptu trivia. The other was Roger Hunt. Roger Hunt, 1965.
The big man, the man himself. He was the reason we wear red.
Yeah.
Because Shankly decided to change it because he saw him wearing red, and he was like, "Holy
pops!" He likes that pops.
Well, it's like anybody that'll tell you. My sister works in fashion. She always worked in fashion, and I just one of those things. She's probably told me a million things, and I would have learned it anyway. But I just remember her saying to me at some point when I was like 10, she was being all like flouncy about clothes and stuff, and in college, and she was giving out someone saying, "Red makes you look fat, black makes you look thin. Don't wear red And so like red makes you, if you wear all red, you look twice as big as you are. And he's like, Roger Hunt was already massive,
right.
And when he wore all red, he just looked like 6'8".
He just looked 10 times the size.
Yeah.
He looked like a giant. Yeah.
Yeah. So if your girl is, worried about that kind of thing, just stay away from the red dresses for a while. Yeah.
How about this? Here's another fun little trivia question for you, Bri. And for the chat as well. And this includes the Chelsea participant, if he's still in here. Only 3 subs have scored for the Reds in a Wembley final. Excuse me. Only 3 subs have scored for the Reds in a Wembley final. One has done it twice. Can you name the 3 people? I can give you the eras too, but and that's not just, and it doesn't necessarily mean that when I say Wembley final, that doesn't mean League Cup only. It means League Cup or FA Cup.
Yeah, well, I get it. Yeah.
So the eras were the 80s and the 2010s.
And one guy did it twice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or one guy has 2. Yeah.
Is that the 80s guy or the 2010s guy?
The 80s guy. One has more than 1 goal, I should say. He scored more than 1 goal. Well, I said twice. I mean, he scored more than 1 goal in the game.
Yeah.
And also, I hope that our viewing viewership here continues, because like these bits of history are important to know. I mean, it helps when you know and you have some sense of, like, you might not have watched the game live, you might not even watch the game on replay or even watch the game period, but it is kind of cool to know these kinds of tidbits about the history of your own team. It's kind of cool. I think at least it is, but I'm a football romantic, so it is what it is.
So who's coming off the final? Who's coming off the bench and scoring for us in a final at Wembley in 2010 era?
2010 era and 1980 era.
And the guy from 1980 scored more than 1 goal.
The guy in the 1980s scored 2 goals.
Yeah. Okay, Craig Johnson.
That's a good shout, but no.
Ray Houghton.
Nope.
Peter Beardsley.
No.
Okay, I'll stop.
This guy is someone that you would it's not as yeah. I think you're thinking too quiz show, like I'm trying to stump you too much. This person is someone that you would expect to be in it. The 80s guy is someone that you would expect.
Ian Rush.
Yes.
Yeah, Ian Rush. Okay. And then the 2010.
Ian Rush scored 2 goals in the 1989 FA Cup final.
Yeah, against Everton, was it? So maybe he was injured and then he didn't get started. So Suarez?
No. And so I'll give you this hint. The 1 sub was for the 2012 League Cup.
Peter Crouch.
And the 1 sub for the FA Cup was in the 2012 FA Cup.
Peter Crouch?
No. That's why it's interesting who the two. It's kind of interesting who the 2 guys were. You can tell me if you want to tap out. I'll give you the answers when you.
No. No, we'll move. Yeah.
In 2012 League Cup, it was Dirk Kuyt.
In
the 2012 FA Cup, it was Andy Carroll.
Oh, I thought it was only 1 guy left. I nearly said Dirk Kuyt as well. Because okay, move on.
Move on.
Woulda, shoulda, coulda.
That was pretty cool. That was some good shouts. That's definitely some good shouts.
At least I got 1 right.
Yeah, you got 1 right. You got 1 right for sure. At least we're not doing. If I was doing the Ensman TV style quiz, I'd be just killing you with your answers right now.
Yeah, I'm better. Well, I'm better right quizzes than I am at actually, because no, there's people that when it comes to football, like all of those questions that you just asked me there now, I know
Mhm.
people, I know 4 or 5 people that could answer those immediately. They could tell you who the ref was, who played the
Oh
pass.
wow.
They
Oh
could
wow.
tell you, they'd randomly just start naming who the other subs were, who started the game, who got a reg. They're just guys like inside. They can bring that stuff
Yeah,
up.
like a running encyclopedia style
Yeah,
guy.
like, do you
Yeah.
remember that 3-2 against Parma? It was like it wasn't 3-2, it was 3-1, and yada yada scored, and he scored, and that goal was offside. It's just like wow, okay. Anything
That's
Liverpool,
impressive.
yeah,
That's impressive.
yeah.
They're the kind of
There are
guys
some.
that you want. They're the kind of guys you want in a Quizzo night. I don't know if you have Quizzo over like the
Oh yeah,
quiz, like
yeah,
the bar quizzes and stuff. They're the
yeah. We
kind of guys
spoke.
you want at your table with a pint. You know.
Yeah, yeah. No, no. Those
Exactly.
are the guys that I was writing quizzes for on Day Trippers. There was a couple of guys like
Mhm.
that. That's
Mhm.
why I had a lot of fun writing those quizzes because I was stumping them all the time. But
Yeah.
because I was asking European quizzes, but asking European questions, but you could see as soon as they started thinking, they could get like, because my questions seemed really hard, but some of them were gettable. But as soon as these guys, they hear the question, they're like, "Oh, come on," and then they go, "Oh, right," and they go, "Right, no, okay, 92, no, that wasn't 92, that was 94," and you could see the way their memories work when they start thinking about football. They couldn't tell you
Right.
when their wife's birthday is or what they're supposed to, you know what I mean? But you ask them something about the
You ask them a question
1988
like
Cup
that, they're
final.
like,
Yeah, yeah.
you
Oh, yeah.
see the like, you see like the
Yeah.
constellations being put in the ding,
Photographic
ding, ding,
memory. Photographic memory all of a sudden. Like, it's just weird. It's so weird. Like, but yeah, you
That's
ask them
brilliant.
something about, yeah, yeah, what's your mom's telephone number? They have to look it up. But yeah, you
That's
ask them,
brilliant.
yeah, it's funny to watch. Like, but I couldn't, yeah, I'm just the opposite of that. I have trouble remembering who started 3 games ago. You know what I mean? When
Yeah,
those
no, I
details.
got you. We just recently reached a milestone by having 4 players reach 10 plus goals in every competition. This will be my last little trivia question. Okay. We reached it by having 4 players um, reach 10 plus goals by in LFC. So the earliest in LFC history, which was match week. Um, so I'm gonna ask this. We just reached the 4 players that was reached. We actually just reached 5, which is incredible. That's absolutely incredible, by the way. We have 5 players that have 10 plus goals in all competitions. Absolutely incredible. Um, because but with Diaz's goal, he now has 10 goals in all competitions. Um, I'm going to ask you. There was one. What was the record was broken? It was a 80s era record. Okay, I'll give you that little bit of a hint.
Okay.
What was the 4 players that the record was broke that they broke? Who was the so they these 4 players held the
Yeah,
earliest
I,
mark for us
I get
getting
to
4
yeah,
goal scores with 10 plus goals.
yeah.
Who was who was that? Who was that? Who were the 4? If you can name the year, that's great. But if who were the 4 players that they beat the mark for?
Okay,
It was
so
the
in
80s era.
yeah,
80s era. I'll
yeah.
tell you that much.
So there was obviously it's only from one season. So there
But it all
was
has to be all in one season, right? It has to be
yeah,
all in one
so
season.
there was
Right.
4 players that had 10 plus goals in the 80s squad. That was
Mhm.
right. Okay, so the 4 player, yeah, that should be easy. Okay, so Rush, Dalglish, Barnes, and uh, Rush, Dalglish, Barnes, and uh, Beardsley.
Beardsley. All right. All right. I'd like to see how many people. I know that we're not. I know maybe some of our trivia has kind of like tempered some people to like tune out, or maybe some people don't like being shown up to be wrong on their history. But I like the boldness and I like the courage of my partner here, Brian. You got 1 out of 4. I think. Say your list again one more time. You said
I said Dalglish, Rush, Barnes, and Beardsley.
okay. You got 1 out of 4.
Yeah.
I'll give you one more. I'll give you one more try.
8.
Now I'll tell you who got right. You want me to tell you who got right out of 4?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got King Kenny is one of them.
Right.
But there's 3 others, and it was all in 1 year. These 3 other players had 10 goals in 10 competitions.
Okay. Rush, Johnson, Aldridge.
Okay.
Oh no, Rush. I said Rush already.
Mhm.
Johnson, Aldridge, and who's the winger I'm forgetting about? I can't remember the winger I'm forgetting about. So Steve McManaman.
That's a good shout because I know that I've been on a McManaman. I've been on a
No,
McManaman
sorry, not Stephen McManaman. Sorry, not Steve McManaman. Sorry, Steve McMahon. Steve McMahon.
Oh, okay. That's an interesting shout too. That would be
wrong.
You had one. You just up. Now you have 2. Johnson's in that list.
Craig Johnson's on the list. Kenny Dalglish, Craig Johnson.
Yep. 2 others. If you want another shot, I'll give you another shout. But like,
yeah. So obviously, there's no Aldridge, there's no Beardsley, there's no McMahon, there's no Rush.
it's David Johnson.
Oh, David Johnson.
Uh-huh.
Oh, right. Okay. No, finish. I don't know. No. I'll leave it there.
So the team was 1980, 1981. It was Terry McDermott.
Oh, way back then. Oh, 80, 81. I was looking towards the kind of Anfield rap era, 87, 88 maybe was what I was looking. Right. I was never going to get them. Right. I was even looking. I was on the run.
McDermott. Sunis, Johnson, and Dalglish.
Right. Okay.
That was kind of interesting. Okay. That's kind of interesting.
Because, like, I mean, when you say like it was an 80s team, like I was thinking maybe it's an 80s team. Like that's basically a 70s team. But
It just breaks into that. Years. Technically, it's 1980, 81, so it is an 80s era team. But I get it. Like the bigger names are part of the 70s kind of era. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, it's a 40-year record basically. When you look at that, it's taken over 40 years to break that record.
Yeah, and we've had some very prolific scorers during those decades after. And on top of that, the league has changed in the rules and the ability to like see a little bit more higher scoring games because of the rule changes. But let's just get back into this.
Yeah. Go back. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, I was just saying, go ahead. No, tell me what you're gonna say.
No, I was just saying with the like better equipment and better pitches.
Oh yeah.
Better training, better like the likes of Dalglish, these boys that were good back then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is amazing that like it's taken that long, especially the amount of games like that. Yeah. And we're always in all. We tend to be in all 4 competitions for a while at least, apart from the Barn ones. And so yeah, that's
so they can rack up some of those goals, some of those scores and stuff, right? Yeah, I know exactly what
you need those. You need those 8 to 10 goal season players that nobody really notices are scoring 8 to 10 goals. Yeah, because all of those players that you mentioned from that 80s team, none of them look, Dalglish is Dalglish. He was never. None of those players are out and out strikers. And Terry McDermott and Graham Souness what would be called today either destroyers or holding midfielders or central midfielders at best.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
team, the
goals.
forwards on that team were Kenny, Howard Gale, Ian Rush,
A very young Ian Rush.
Russell, and who did I miss? I said Daglish, David Johnson, Howard Gale,
Johnson
Ian
was
Rush,
a forward.
and Colin Russell were like the 5 forwards for us at that time.
Yeah, like Johnson scored, but he was never known as like a number, like a Liverpool, like a great striker, of all time. They were all. So when you can have someone like a McAllister at Brighton, who was ostensibly he'd be kind of like Souness. He'd be very similar to Souness, but Souness would be more of a hard-edged version of him. But Souness is a brilliant technical player as well. So someone like McAllister that scores you 10 goals, 12 goals, like in all comps, like 8 goals in the league. You add one other guy to that, plus your usual scoring people. Before, like, that's 14, 15 goals. That's no joke.
Yeah,
like
no doubt.
15 goals is going to make a lot of difference over a league season. So it really helps to have, like, if Szoboszlai can get 8 or 10 a season, and McAllister can get 8 or 10 a season, that's the bones of 20 goals before your strikers even come into the equation, or your attack.
Yeah.
That will add up. And you may not notice it over the season. Like I'm saying, it's only 8 or 9 goals, and then 8, a few assists. But at the end of the season, it's like, well, hang on, how have they got a goal difference of plus, 35 or whatever it is? And well, look where the midfield. They've got 16 goals just from midfield.
Yeah,
we need that.
Absolutely.
I think Szoboszlai can do it as well.
Yeah. All right, so I'm bringing up. Did I share the tab yet? I'm tired of looking at this. I should have taken it down anyway. I'm tired of looking at the Chelsea team.
I'm going to be dreaming about that team tonight now. Yeah, I'm staring at it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. My apologies. I'm gonna go on to this is the lineup I picked for the Liverpool side. Is there anyone on this team? So anyone that I picked here that you would argue we possibly won't see? Let me make it a little smaller here. Hopefully you can see the entire line here. Is there anyone that you would say should be in, someone that should be out type deal?
That was my team at the start. But I've come around a little bit to thinking, I don't know, maybe I should go with what I was thinking in the first place, that Robbo was rested for this game. But I think Gomez will start now. I don't know, for some reason I think Gomez might start it. And Robbo might be benched again.
If that is the case, what does that say? Does that say that Robbo's not fit? Or is that saying that Robbo...
I was going to say Brady is benched and Gomez starts right back and Robbo starts left back. I think Gomez, it's so hard to leave Gomez out. It's so harsh considering how well he's played. And Robbo has only kind of just come back. I was kind of thinking, because I had it in my head, whoever was going to start right back against Luton, I thought it was either going to be Gomez or Bradley. And whoever started that game wasn't going to start the cup final. So whoever was on the bench was being rested for the cup final. Then he started them both. He starts Gomez at left back, Bradley right back, and rest Robbo. But Robbo didn't really need rest because Robbo hasn't played that much. So that to me kind of said, maybe you've kind of lost your spot. Like, is it as basically what I thought it was a foregone conclusion that it was going to be Robbo back for the cup final. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm overthinking. But the more I was kind of looking at it, I was like, well, how do we drop Gomez? And you saw that you were with us there on, like, when Rod's lined it up, when we look at it, like, if you have Gomez in there, Van Dijk, and then Kanate, that's so strong defensively. And then Bradley going off and doing stuff. I wouldn't be mad at it at all, but yeah, I just sort of thought it was a foregone conclusion that Robbo was back, but maybe it isn't. Maybe it's not.
You know what? It is kind of weird that, Robbo has kind of like fallen into that question mark whether he starts, as opposed to that, oh, he's fit, he starts style,
Yes,
um,
exactly. Yeah.
role. I'll agree with that completely.
Gomez has been so immense. Gomez has just been so completely, like, almost undroppable. But again, it is a cup final. He's great
It's
to
one of
have
those
on the
things
bench.
too. We're gonna need Gomez. We're gonna need Gomez for this entire run, and we don't want to totally tax him. Not saying he can't make it, or not saying he doesn't have, like, because he has injuries that he's going to get another injury. I don't believe in that kind of stuff. I just believe that,
Oh
like,
no, we're playing Van
um,
Dijk. We're playing Van
he's,
Dijk.
yeah,
You know, we're playing
exactly,
Van Dijk like it's nothing, and he's playing
exactly,
everything.
right. Right. So that's why one of those things where it's like, it's the same. It's very similar to when I see and hear people talk about, Diego. Oh, is he injury prone? He's injury prone. I'm like, yes, he's had injuries, but, like, if they're non-impact injuries or impact injuries, that's a difference for me when it comes to, trying to classify someone as an injury prone style player, personally. Because
Yeah,
I
I, I
mean,
was I was
yeah,
amazed by some of that. It's like there's a, it's like call like it's like calling someone clumsy because they got punched in the face.
right.
You know, it's like he didn't walk into a door. He got
Yeah,
punched in.
exactly.
If he walked into a door, you'd be like, "You clumsy!" Like, you're so clumsy. How did you not see
Yeah,
that fist coming? It's like how, yeah, that was something. That's one of the weakest arguments I've seen this season. Is that, and it came from someone who, oh God, but like he got crushed by a player. He got crushed by something. Like
yeah,
literally, just he got squished up, squishy on the ground,
yeah,
or like
yeah.
by another human being. And then someone literally said, "See, I
He's injured.
told you he was injury prone."
I know, and it's like one of those things where just like,
Oh,
it's like sometimes I shake my head to just say, you know
you,
what?
you can't trust him. I told you, you can't trust him. He's
Yeah,
injury prone. It's like,
yeah, it's
okay,
like one of those things. Oh
okay.
my goodness, that's what we're doing here. That's what we're
Well,
doing.
okay, but think about this. So maybe right, like we lock it up. We lock it up early, right? We do the tactical thing as well. We put Gomez in left back, right? And
Okay,
we've got Baldy on the right. Then we have Robbo on the bench. So it's
right.
like we're not going to have many attacking options on that bench
No.
now, because we're going to be working. We can only work on the assumption now that because the two boys haven't been declared fit, we'll just say, right, they're not going to play, because otherwise, well, if Nunes starts this, well, if Salah starts that. So until
Hmm.
we know that they're playing, we'll just go with this, right?
Hmm. And I can
There
give you the
won't.
updates. The injury updates are Dom, Mo, and Darwin. 2 more days of sessions. Then this is what Pep said, at least. He said
Yeah,
Dom, Mo, and Darwin. 2 more days of sessions. Then they'll check. That was obviously when he gave the press conference. And then he said Ali is a muscle injury. He's expect him after the international break. Curtis, high ankle injury around the international break. Excuse me. Trent, lateral ligament damage after the international break, and he said Diego, medial ligament damage after the international break.
yeah. So if we're saying, like,
There's,
I'm kind of half
there's
expecting,
three
but
names there.
let's just say they don't play. So you've got Robbo on the bench. I think as the most attacking defensive. Like if it's just Gomez, you're bringing Gomez on to kind of tighten it up maybe in some way. Whereas if you have Robbo on the bench, it at least gives us some attacking impetus that we can bring on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Unlike if it's bringing on Gomez is purely just bringing on a defender. Because if this is the team and there's no Nunes and there's no Salah, the next attackers on the bench are kids. So someone like Robbo coming on can change the game more than a Gomez coming on. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
Gomez can give us that tactical stability from the start. That's maybe I might have talked myself into that, but
Yeah, it sounds like you just did.
you know, it's something I could look at. You know, it's something that would make sense to me.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but I don't know.
It's one of those things where like it's a tactical move, just like you said. It's one of those things where you want to keep your options open. I personally have been saying that I'd rather have Gomez on the bench because then you have a little bit more options as to where of like, saying, okay, if you want to take Bradley out, you can take him out for Gomez. If you want to take Robbo out, you can take him out for Gomez. But I get that you can also just as simply probably just like say, okay, you're taking Bradley out. Well, then you can just move Gomez over to the right side.
Yeah.
But then that means that you have to bring in, obviously,
You have to bring in Robbo.
Right? Or even a Simicast.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, do we know for a fact that Robbo is? Yeah, I think he is 100%.
Yes. He's good to go. There's been no mention of him as being like questionable or doubtful. I can even tell you what I have.
Probably the only option we have. It's probably the only kind of real talking point or point of discussion is at that fullback area, because everything else does itself. It's just as a manager in a final, I think having something on the bench that you can see changing a game for you.
Mm-hmm. That's the reason why. That's the reason why, Brian. Not to cut you off, I was going to say.
No.
That's the reason why when people would say, "Well, why aren't you starting Diego?" When we had Diego at least as an option, and you're starting this player or that player, or why aren't you starting Nunez and this player or that player? Excuse me. It was because I liked having that one quality option on the bench that could be an impact game changer. Impact player that can immediately turn the tables. Your whether it is your Elliott, whether it is obviously your Diego, whether it is your Nunez. These players are all players that can come in, change a game immediately once they step foot on the pitch. We don't necessarily by being forced to start Elliott, by being forced to start these players, or not even have these players as an option. It limits that completely. Like, as in, you're stuck with pretty much the game plan, whatever game plan it is that you've put on paper as to the one that you want to go with.
Yeah, the 11 you're putting out is the one that's going to have to see it out.
Right. Yep.
I personally, I think we will see one of them. I think we will see one of
the
just
three.
knowing Mo. Of knowing Mo
or Darwin.
Yeah, knowing Mo and his fitness and all that, I wouldn't be at all surprised if it was him.
Mm-hmm.
The Darwin one is worrying because he just disappears at halftime in the middle of the game and he isn't seen again.
Yeah. I think it's precautionary that they're doing, especially since the track history. Maybe the medical team is being a little bit more overly precautious, considering that they've had a lot of people call into question their abilities to really navigate in these injuries for us. I mean, let's not get it twisted. Chelsea has injuries of their own. Fofana, Reece James, Cucurella, as you said earlier, Silva, whether he's on or off. Sanchez is doubtful, but he's probably not going to start anyway. Uka Chokwa and Badiashile. I forgot Lavia and Carney for them as well. Carney, Chukwu. Yes, there you go. Look at you. Nice. Someone's been practicing. Okay. Yes, they have a long list of injuries as well. So it's not like they're, going into this with any bit of more of a sense of having, their preferred, some of the preferred players out there. Obviously, with Reece James out injured, and Fofana obviously is a shout that could be possibly someone that they utilize, and Badiashile is someone that is someone that they've utilized this year as well.
Fofana cost 70 million quid and he's done his ACL twice.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good.
That's an injury-prone player, apparently, right?
Like, I think 75 million maybe is what they owe Leicester. That guy's never kicked a football for them, really. He's had 2 proper ACLs.
Yeah.
Reece
And
James,
he was someone that was looked at as being someone they would certainly try to rely on, or at least you get some. You don't pay 75 million, even if you're Chelsea, for a player and not expect to get some type of utility out of him.
no, even the other guy. Oh, what's his name? Well, yeah, he cost like Disassi probably end up being the best one. He probably only cost like 20 or 30.
Oh yeah.
But
I mean,
Reece James,
Cucurella is a loss for them as well. I mean,
he cost 65 million from Brighton.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, if you look at Reece James, or look at do you remember I was talking to Chris the other day about that Ben Dinnery, the guy that does the Premier League Injuries.com, the website, on Twitter, the guy that the guy following for injury updates. He basically he was talking about him the other week, and he said, like, over the course of his career, in terms of senior matches that he's been available, or say that he's been at, well, Chelsea in the squad, in the first team squad, right? So that's, say, his entire career numbered in matches. He has missed 50% of them.
That's
injured. Yes, he's literally like, he's around 27 now, and the guy has, and this was before his most recent injury. This is actually more like a month ago. So that's a guy who's literally missed half of his entire career through being injured.
Has it been 7 matches that we've gone? 7 matches. We've gone 7 matches without a clean sheet. Wow, that's a pretty.
In all competitions. In all competitions. Oops.
I'm gonna double check that. Yeah, I was looking on here because they on one of my apps they give you, like, streaks and stuff and such. Like, we're on a 3-game winning streak. Chelsea has a 3-game no loss streak. It says Chelsea has gone 5 games without a clean sheet. We've gone 7 games without a clean sheet. We've scored 4 out of 5 times. They've scored 4 out of 5 times. They've scored 2.5 goals or more. 6 out of 6 matches, we've scored 2.5 goals. Let's see. Obviously, 5 out of 5 for them and 7 out of 7 for us. Both teams score in a game. And 6 out of 8 times we've been the first to score. And more than 4.5 cards, 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5. That's pretty crazy. Crazy stat. Yeah. So this is the team that we're going with. I think this team is pretty decent. I know that we spoke on Rod's show about how, like, I was saying how, actually, I don't think this is like my screenshot of it. So I was saying how, the changing of grad, but you're going to see a lot of that anyway. Just like as you spoke up on about the rotating triangles and the fact that we'll see Bradley further advance. Sometimes we'll see Gravenberch advance. We'll see Elliott obviously in that advanced role. It's not necessarily just because they're in those starting positions doesn't necessarily mean you'll see them stuck in those roles, as we were talking on.
Yeah, at times you'll definitely see Gravenberch where Elliott is on the pitch there. You'll see Bradley where Gravenberch is. You'll see Elliott where Gravenberch is. You'll see lots of movement. Hopefully, we get a chance to do that kind of stuff. But
well, I can say this too, by the way. Phil Foden scored earlier today for City. I had that question out there. I don't know if you're a part of that or not. When I asked, I asked them,
I don't remember.
The Foden versus Saka question. Did you hear that question?
Foden versus Saka. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Who would you rather have? Who would you take for our club? Who would you rather take? Let's say both were in the market miraculously, or let's say not even both in the market. Let's just say both of them ran out their contracts, and both ran out their contracts and they're free agents in essence, so they can pick and choose if they want to re-sign or go to another club.
Yeah.
Liverpool's shown interest in both of them. Then, who do you
Who's our
take?
manager? Who's our manager?
Ooh, that's a good question. Let's just go with Klopp for right now. Let's just go.
Saka.
I know Klopp won't be our manager at the time, but let's just say
Saka.
since he is our manager,
Yeah, Saka is a Klopp player all day long. Klopp has made it clear he tried to basically sign the kid.
Mm-hmm.
So Saka, for me, it would be a Klopp signing. But geez, that's like Foden is one of the most naturally gifted players out there still.
Yeah. The guy had a really easy tap in today. Well done tap in. Referenced as as one of the best 10s in the league, even though the 10 role is a dying role. But
yeah, he's an 8. He's a left winger. He's a right winger. He's a 10 if you want. He's a real talent. Yeah, he's so good. Like he's one of those guys. Guardiola has basically dealt with the likes of Iniesta, Messi. Just the list goes on.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd have Foden in his team, So but Saka though is more to me of a Klopp. Like if we didn't have Salah, Saka would probably be a great replacement.
Mm-hmm.
In a Klopp team.
That's why I went with Saka too. By the way, I went with Saka for the sheer fact that we'd have a understudy to Mo. We don't have one now. He would be an amazing understudy for Mo. Obviously, I don't think Saka is better than Mo, but I definitely think that he would make Mo have to work for that role of being in the right wing, and he would be an amazing complement to find out whether he can play, maybe even play other positions, just to see if we can get him into the lineup, whether it's right mid, whether it's left wing,
Like if you were talking like in a year and we had a manager like an Alonso or maybe some other guy that played with someone in Foden's position prominently, you'd probably be saying Foden. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
but like that's one of England's issues as well, is how to get the best out of these guys.
Asking primarily because they both scored today. That's why I was primarily asking.
Really, did Saka score today? I don't think Saka scored yet, did he?
He just scored. That's why I'm.
Oh, right. No, but that's one
I had the Newcastle Arsenal game is on in the background here.
No, that's Newcastle.
It's not unless you're an Arsenal fan, chances are it's not a fun watch. Considering Newcastle is not.
No, I'm just saying that's a really good one because I've never been asked that one before. Foden or Saka, and it's funny because they're very similar, and they both play for England, and all that.
Yeah, I mean they're possibly the two biggest, maybe with Jude. Jude's definitely in that mention, but whether it's Jude or it's Saka or Foden, they're obviously England's.
Bellingham is better than all of them.
For three of England's first calls are going to those three players.
Bellingham is better than all of them. Bellingham is better than probably everybody on that England team. Yeah. I would say. I don't know, maybe Harry Kane, but right now I think Jude Bellingham, with his early season form, especially, approaching best player on the planet territory, not as in definitively the best footballer on the planet, but at that moment during that run that he was on, best player on the planet, unstoppable. Like Real Madrid thought they bought a central midfielder. It turns out they bought a goal machine, who was also a central midfielder, who just he walked into Real Madrid like it was his backyard. Come on, bossing everything, walking around like he's the main man. Absolutely ridiculous.
Oh my gosh, Karius having an absolute Karius style game right now.
So is it going bad for him?
Yeah. If you want, I don't know. I don't necessarily. Since there's not many people in the chat, I'll just give you the update. And if you're probably watching this game on the replay, chances are the game will be already over. It is currently with 70 minutes left, or excuse me, 7 minutes left. But at the 71st minute, it is 4-0.
Oh man, last time I saw it was 2-0. I didn't want him to have a bad game. Like, but Arsenal are smoking teams up, Arsenal are smoking teams up, and Newcastle are over the last 6 game weeks, or you could even stretch it out to 8 or 10 potentially. But over 6, they're the worst defense in the league. They've been the worst defense in the league for at least 10 weeks now.
You know what's really that's crazy. That's a crazy stat.
But
because Newcastle was notorious last year when they got the 4th, when they battled for 4th place with us and they ended up getting it. They were notorious for being defensive and also getting the draws. Like
they were even at the start of this season. Even at the start of this season, they were like that. Then they got some injuries, and they never got back on track properly. And they've been sinking like a stone because, again, it comes down to midfield and attack as well. Protecting their defense.
Does Eddie Howe hold on to his job?
I hope not. But you know who's 4th in that same metric? Say 6 to 8 game weeks. The 4th best defense in the Premier League. I'll give you a guess.
Everton? No.
No. I'll give you another guess.
4th best defense in the league?
Over the last 6.
Over the last 6 games?
6 games.
Let me think. I'm gonna look and see if I can get like concept of the standings here. I would say not Brighton. West Ham. I think they got pummeled actually.
They got torn apart by Arsenal recently, 5-0.
Maybe Villa, maybe.
No, Bournemouth.
Yeah, that's a good call. That's a good shot. Bournemouth held on to a 1-0 loss today. I mean, they didn't necessarily get crushed.
That's what I was going to say. They only lost 1-0 to City when 2 years ago they're probably getting beat 6.
That's a good call. That's a good shot.
That's a really, really good manager, and he's got them, performing. He's got Solanke scoring goals. He's got them keeping clean sheets.
Yeah.
1 second. I'll tell you when I'm back.
Okay. I'm going to go through some stats for the game upcoming between the differences between these two teams, some team comparisons, and then we're going to get your shout outs for the game predictions, score predictions, and who you think is going to score this for tomorrow's fixture. Again, it's an early morning fixture for me. I don't know. And also, you know what? For laughs and giggles, include what time the game is on for you, where you'll be watching it. Tell me where you'll be watching it. I'm sorry, I just watched who's that? Tierney? Is that Tierney? I think Tierney's refereeing for them today. He's got kicked in the back from a goal kick, from a goalkeeper's punt, basically. Rightfully so. Double check and make sure that's who it is that's refereeing. I think that's Tierney. Yep, Paul Tierney. Yeah, so some interesting statistics between these teams. We'll go with attack first. Chelsea obviously has played one additional game, but they have the goals are pretty even when it comes to attack. They've had a couple of different. We've had 13 goals. They've had 12. We've had 40 shots, 35 shots to their shots. Accuracy is pretty much on par too. It's like 48.6% to 47.6. Conversion rate obviously 6.7 to 15.5. So again, pretty close. Assists is where we see a definite difference in these two teams. Liverpool has definitely been more concise with their, being able to construct and play a more balanced approach towards their offense in the sense of getting the assist on the board. 12 to 5. We also look at defense. On the defensive measure, whoops, my bad. Let me make sure. You're about to see apparently a live score. I'll show you the live score. Let's go back to this defense. The defense we're looking at is again, sure, just 6 games, 5 games played, but we're looking at five goals conceded from by us, 4 goals conceded by them. We haven't had any clean sheets. They've had 2. We faced 18 shots and 11 to theirs, 41 tackles, 77 tackles won by Chelsea. They definitely a little bit more engaged when it comes to tackling. Tackling success rate 61.6 to 53.2. They definitely, because you can obviously see they had the tackles won, they're going to obviously have more duels won as well. 329 to 234 for us. And dual success rate, they've had 55% to our 47%. Another thing is distribution. I wanted to show this as well. Our distribution, we've had 2,441 successful passes. Obviously, we do. Both of these teams like to pass the ball, like to keep possession, and like to get a lot of flow and going with their games. 3,745 passes, successful passes from Chelsea. Obviously, but when it comes to accuracy, 89.5% to our 86. We've been very successful with our crosses, as have they, with 15 crosses successful. And also, and I say very because crosses tend to be in that 25%. Like you tend to get like around a quarter of your crosses tend to be successful. And that's including crosses or including corner kicks, obviously. And we've been a little bit more successful for a dribble success rate as well, with 54.6 to their 49%. The last stat I'll bring up here is the discipline. And cool. I'm just going with this last slide here. Last slide is 62 fouls have been won by Chelsea as opposed to our 46. We've committed 66 to their 46, but we've also had 9 yellow cards shown towards Chelsea to our 5. And no 0. We haven't seen a red card yet in our matchups. So
what's that going through? What's standing out?
Scraps up says, I thought you were going to cook some people yesterday. I am still going to cook some people necessarily, but more so with what it was is that I have I've been in touch with the people that I wanted to speak about, or at least give them their day in court, I guess you could say. So it was less so of the banter and the hype up by some of the people that were on that panel, and some of the people that were on that panel were definitely going through their history of shows to see if they were going to be on the list. But yeah. My day job or my day gig is super important to me too. So sometimes you got to make your decisions as to what's more important. And when I'm bringing in these guys, when I'm bringing in talent and artists, I had to take care of that because I'm paying for it. So in essence, so
Trump's
real
YouTube.
life is a mug, I know people love the banter and love the things, but I still have don't trust me. I still have my episode. I still have the measure of the episode I want to do. I also know that I still have reached out to go on their show, on the shows of the people that I want to address at least call out. So we'll see, man. We'll see. I'm not really super sweating it. About getting that show in or not. Right now, I'm more focused on the silverware right now. I'll most likely try to get that show in this week. I'm going to speak to Brian to see if he wants to participate in it too. But yeah, it should be an interesting show once I have the ability and time to do it. So yeah. Anyways, there goes. Arsenal almost scored again. So let's see. What's your score prediction for this game? And who do you have scoring, Brian? I know my I'll give my score predictions after you.
We've got some shots fired here, man. We've got some shots fired already, man.
No, Scraps. I mean, like, I don't know who Scraps is, to be honest with you. But I mean, like, but all the same, no, I didn't bottle anything. That's silly talk. What would I have bottled? what would I have bottled? Me calling out some names or something for people that have a lot of talk and flip flop. Scraps, do you want me to go looking in the chats for your comments and see if you should be put on that list?
Yeah, you gotta wait for it, man. You gotta wait for it.
Yeah,
It'll happen.
You gotta wait for it. You know, if it's coveted by you, then you'll wait for it and you'll get it when I'm ready to give it out. How about that? Yeah. But all the same. We'll see, Scraps. There's no bottling it. I'm not Arsenal. I might wear red, but I'm no Gooner.
It'll be taken out of the oven when it's ready.
Exactly. Waiting for that the turkey thermometer to pop.
Yeah. Well, at least you're giving people the thingy-me-jiggy-me. Let me see.
Yeah.
Scoreline.
What's your score prediction? And then tell us also what is your scores of that prediction.
Yeah, well, you called them out there earlier on. You know what we're talking about, and it's when you're going into a game and this and that. We're all hoping for different, but when you look back, cup finals are usually horrible, drab. They're terrible games. Like, they're usually bad games, especially if it's two really good teams matching against each other. You look at all those. You were talking about the cup final results there, Reece. How many of them go to extra time? How many are draws? They're usually pretty poor games. They're not, like I said earlier on, unless someone scores early, the closer it gets to 0-0 at full time, they don't want to lose it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a long way of me saying I'm not expecting a very good game. I'm expecting a low scoring game. Because Chelsea aren't great at scoring goals. We've got a strong defence. We don't have a lot of our best players, assuming the two boys, and they've got a strong midfield, which will make it difficult for us to create. Like, it's got 0-0 written all over it again a little bit, unfortunately. So I'm going to go 1-0 Liverpool in 90 minutes, and I reckon we'll beat them by a goal. So 2-1. Gakpo and McAllister.
2-1.
2-1 Gakpo and McAllister. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Oh, that's a good shout. I didn't have Mac as my score. But that's a good shout.
It'll be a real tight game. Real tight game.
Tight game, yeah. One goal.
A one goal.
What do you have it going? So real quick question. Real quick follow-up question. What do you have it going into halftime?
0-0.
Newcastle finally just got one back.
No, they didn't. Tell me they didn't score.
Newcastle finally scored one.
Oh, no. Feckin' bloody Newcastle. That's just cost me a lot of points.
Yeah.
That just cost me a lot of points.
Sorry to hear that. I'm sorry. Sorry to be a bearer of bad news. Yeah. Who scored? I'll tell you who scored in a second. But yeah, 2-1. So going into halftime, what do you have to score? How about that?
0-0.
You have a 0-0. So we have 2-1 going. You have 0-0 going to halftime.
Yeah.
I'm putting this down here. And then you have 2-1. So you have three goals getting scored in the second half. Okay. Or do you have 3 goals scored? Not necessarily in the second half, maybe even like into extra time type deal.
Oof, yeah, maybe. That one surprised me.
It was Willock just scored 2, by the way.
Yeah.
First Prem goal of the season.
Exactly. Typical. Cost me like
Typical.
20 points.
That's what happens a lot of times. These names and people that you don't expect to do anything or haven't done anything all season long, all of a sudden, boom, they score.
Well, that's the law of the X. That is the law of the X. They bought him from Arsenal. He scores against Arsenal. Probably the most pointless goal ever. Wiping out
it
fantasy
is.
football clean
In a
sheets.
4-1 game, that couldn't be any more. That couldn't be any more, not important.
Oh God, that's just finished off my day nicely.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, brother. I'm gonna go with. I'm going with 4-1 being my score. 4-1 since Orange is the new black. If Orange is the new black, then 4-1 is the new 3-1 when it comes to scoring.
So I can't wait to hear these. We got 4 individual goal scorers.
Yeah, we have 4 individual goal scorers. I'm sorry, it's funny. I'm watching. They're showing the crowd at the Emirates. There's this one Newcastle fan standing next to a young boy and a young girl with his shirt off. He's waving it, and you get to see the horror in their faces. I'm going 4-1. I'm going with a DS goal. I'm going with a Hackbo brace. I'm gonna give him the brace that you said he was gonna get in the last game. And for our 4th goal, I am gonna go with Joey G.
Oh, yeah, like it. Nice. Why not?
Why not, man? Why not? Why not? Let him get that let him get that goal that cements the victory, and it kind of and he gets to celebrate in London and just
and then never score again.
Yes. I'll give him an FA Cup goal too, but all right.
No, but to be honest, I would rather have a record of played 600 for Liverpool, right? 400 games for Liverpool, right? Only ever scored 1 goal, but it was in a cup final, rather than having 3 goals.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Because it is such a more it's so much more interesting. It's so much more quirky to have only ever scored 1, but it was a cup final, than to have just scored 3. 3 non-goals over the score, because he's never going to score. What, by the time he leaves, if he stays for another 4 years, he'd have to go on a hell of a run to even get 10 goals.
Yeah, absolutely.
So why not just only ever have 1, and it be a cup final goal? I'd almost prefer that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Absolutely agree.
Do you think he stays? Do you think he stays? Do you think he gets? I'm not sure where he is deal wise.
He's got a 6-year. This was last year, I think, but he got a 6-year extension.
Yeah, I can see him retiring at Liverpool. I don't know about you. Maybe not retiring, but basically maybe go and play for someone else when he's 35 or something. But I can pretty much see him. I can't really see any manager that will go on. I need to get rid of him.
Yeah, why? A, he's still got the pace. B, unless it's something horrific, and I'm not hoping or wishing, and I'll knock on wood for that too, for any of that to ever happen to Joey. But unless he's forced out of the club in a sense, by something like that kind of occurrence, I don't see Joey G going anywhere. Like you just said, I think that A, it helps that the fact that he's the longest tenured player on our team so far, with the club. B, it helps the fact that that he's a homegrown candidate or homegrown player. So that helps his cases. And the versatility of the player just helps immensely. The fact that you've been able to play this guy at right center back, left back, right back, that helps immensely.
With the injuries we've had this season, the job he's done has gone completely overlooked. Yeah, he has just basically allowed us to tie pretty much the bits and pieces together by just stepping in wherever he was needed. right back, left back. It's if we do win the league this season, his role in it will probably be as big as when he played centre half in the alongside Van Dijk.
Yeah,
Yeah, when we
yeah.
won it before.
Actually, you know what? You could argue that it was probably more influential.
Potentially. Looking at the injuries around him and just the fact that if we hadn't had him,
we would have been up SHIT Creek.
Yeah, paddle,
No
paddle, no life jacket,
without a
no
paddle, practically, basically without a paddle, not even with a paddle.
Like really without the base. Yeah, I think it'll go overlooked if we do win it. Obviously, outside of Liverpool, like people like, the people that watch us every week, they'll like, come on.
They'll downplay it. They'll downplay his role. His like. They'll downplay his role. They'll downplay his like actual like contributions. And that's obvious. But I agree with you. Within the Liverpool community, I think there has been a real So, for instance, Scraps was speaking on an episode or comments and possible episode I was supposed to do, or was looking to do on Friday, this past Friday. And Gomez is another one of those people another one of those players that there were countless. And I'm not saying that it couldn't have been warranted in one way or another, but there were countless people out there that had Gomez out of this team. Plain and simple. Countless people. You can go through almost every chat that you spoke on that had any reference or mention of Gomez. He was one of the first to be shown the door when it came to Liverpool exits. And it's incredible how so many people have completely, eaten crow, basically they call it, or like how many people have gone out there now to say the exact opposite when it comes to their opinions on Gomez and his importance and his relevance and contributions.
Yeah, that's fine and dandy, like with those guys, and that's why, like, because I'll sit here and say, yeah, about 2 years ago, 18 months ago, maybe 2 years ago, when he hadn't played regular football for a year, whatever, a season, when it looked like he was a squad player, when it looked like we were bringing in new players, and you say to me, well, who would you sell to make? I'd be like, well, Gomez. Gomez to me was an obvious sellable asset. Like, it's a guy, if he's not playing, he's not in the future plans. If a team like Villa comes in and gives you 40 million quid for him, then I'm like, yeah, I'm okay.
Wasn't Newcastle offering?
Yeah, it was Newcastle. It was Newcastle. I always say Villa for some reason. It was Newcastle that came in. Yeah, offered like 40 million, call it 50.
Yeah, like 45 million, I think they offered, or something like that.
Big money. Big money. That. Yeah. So I was like, okay, money makes the world go round. Players come and go in football. If Joey isn't going to be playing, if we're bringing in other players, it's like, okay, I'm just looking at it realistically, cold-heartedly from a football sense. So, and I'll sit here and tell you I said that. But I'm not someone who is going like, yeah, the guy's absolute trash, get rid of him, sell him. And I'm sitting here going, yeah, I'll tell you, it's a timeline.
Yeah.
And I can say, like, my opinion is different now, but I can tell you along that entire timeline why it changed, when it changed, and that's an education in how to support football. Allow your opinion to change. Just don't nail your colors completely to the mast and say it's black or white. Watch what happens over time. But like, you've got the people, like, I know the kind of people that you're talking about. Like, I'm just there going, I'll stand up here and I say, yeah, I would have said that, and this is why. Now the circumstances have changed. Things are different. He's in the team. It looks like he's properly fit again. So yeah, cool. Yeah. I'm saying what I'm saying now about him. I hope that makes sense. I'm not calling anyone else out. It's just like the kind of other people that you're talking about. It's a slightly different kind of thing where they say he was trash back then, and now it's like, oh, he's world class. I never.
Oh, trust me. There's a guy. There's an individual. I hope to have him on the show sometime. He's a fellow American, but he's very, very big into Very big into Liverpool, like myself. Knowledgeable too about the sport as well. But he just does not like Joey G at first name on the list, even before this run, and somewhat even during this run. He's still saying Joey G is any chance he gets to sell Joey G, he's selling him. It's very, very interesting. It's an interesting take that he has. But it should be interesting when we get him on. We can cook him a little bit when he does get on to hear what he has to say.
Like I say, it's colors that get nailed to the mast.
Right.
You know, it's like whenever I talk about something, I always try and be like, well, at the moment, or as it stands, or things can change, or like proven wrong in the past. That's why I tend to try and avoid being utterly definitive. And then it's like, well, you're not being definitive. It's like, well, football isn't a definitive sport. It's like that guy last night was kind of talking about how if you just do this, then you'll fix that. And then if you fix that, then none of our
it's not like that. It's not like that at all. You're absolutely right. There's no
silver bullet.
There's no given recipe to make things happen the way that
if there was, if there was, we just buy it. Like I said, it's just, if there was a silver bullet, we just go out and you do this, then that will fix whatever the thing was, and then we won't get injured.
Yep.
It's kind of like it's weird when you hear people that are normally quite, but they can still go down that road of thinking and logic in football where they think that it's kind of like with the marking at corners. It's like someone will say, what we're doing there is wrong. All we have to do is fix that, and then we'll never concede another goal from a corner again. It's like, well, that's just not football. Like the things that you're saying, because for some reason it's basically they think it's a computer, and if you tell the computer what to do, or it's like if it's gears, if you set the gears up correctly, well, these are human beings.
Yeah.
Well, you tell, let's say, if you tell 10 pieces of computer, you put in 10 inputs, and the computer will do it. But you tell 10 players to go and stand in a box, and a ball comes in. You can tell them all day long what to do. Yeah. But it's as if, if we just fix this, that's why we concede from corners. No, we concede from corners because it's a game called football, and there's lots of random chance involved in it. It's again, there's no silver bullet from defending corners. If we just do that and we just do that, and if it was, then I tell you, Mister, like you say, the guy that thinks this should get up off his arse, march himself down to Kirby, plant himself out the front door, and tell Jurgen Klopp, I have the answer to stopping you ever conceding a goal corners again, because you're getting paid £1 million a week, mate.
Yeah,
you're missing out on a big paycheck if you have the answer. If you have the golden key to defending corners, get yourself down to Kirby, because you're missing out on a really big paycheck. And do us a favor as well. Go down there and do us a favor. Stop us conceding ever, because apparently there's a thing you can do.
Yep. That's totally true. Yeah, totally true.
Humans on the pitch, man. Humans on the pitch. They like to forget that a lot when they make arguments about how to do that.
Trust me on that. I know. When you're dealing with when you're talking to people, sometimes the way they make it so simple, as if it was that simple. I'm like, if it was that simple, then don't you think we would just do it? You know what I mean? Like, there's some of the simplicities that they make out of the game. I understand that sometimes, we need to just play better. We need to do better at the corner kicks, and that'll make our corner kicks better. Well, tell me again, Einstein, your theories, because that sounds like pure brilliance. If we do better, we'll do better.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like there's a button someone hasn't pushed, and they're negligent for not having pushed it.
Yeah.
Again, it's just like these kind of bland, kind of simply. Now, I said it earlier. Football is a very simple game. Sometimes when we're referring to down in cross ball, Carroll head ball, ball going goal, right?
Yeah.
It is a simple theory because that's part of it. It does work.
Yes, I can understand
And
that
like,
part.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like Klopp was saying previously in like football to him, it's still a simple game. You
Right.
attack when you attack and you defend when you defend, and everybody that's there. If it's a defensive action, everyone defends their space. If it's an offensive action, everyone attacks their space.
Mm-hmm.
So he's saying like he was talking to reporters like, look, stop trying to overcomplicate this. Oh, why is he standing here? He should be standing there. It's like, no, look, the way we work. He said to me, football is still a simple game. The way you
Mm-hmm.
attack, you defend, and you do it as a team was his whole point.
Mm-hmm.
But then what they'll do, the thing is, and what I'm saying again, it's like, yeah, it's simple, but it's extremely like the easiest looking things are usually the most difficult. To make something look simple and easy is usually far more difficult. But this whole thing where they'll say something, they go, "Oh well, football is a simple game. You just do this." It's like, no, it's not simple the way you're simple. You're oversimplifying it. It's just like, oh yeah, we'll do this, and then okay, great. Well, why hasn't anyone thought of this before? This idea that there's one thing and then that will stop everything. You're going to be massively disappointed because
No,
we'll
you
bring in
are.
this whole
You
new
are.
medical thing and someone's
Yep.
going to break
Absolutely.
their leg. Like Alonso will bring
Absolutely.
in a new thing and someone will like break their shoulder bone or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, guess what? The thingy will be say, yeah. Guess what? McAllister's out for 8 weeks because he did something. Is that
Mm-hmm.
Alonso's medical team fault? It seems to be a lot of mud being thrown around at the moment, and I don't understand why. Because the last time I checked, we're top of the league. I don't get this stuff that's been thrown around. Really,
Hmm.
like,
No, you're right about that. I give you that. I give you that. But I mean, like again, this interesting period of time that we're going through. And I think Sam that Sam, the guy from Chelsea, is back. But he tuned out and then tuned back in. All right. But yeah, you know what? I think that's gonna be an interesting. It's definitely gonna be interesting and interesting final for us. I'm hoping that it's not a return of the finals that we've seen these teams play before. Obviously, my final score has a bunch of goals, a bunch of scores. And Brian's is the opposite. So, basically, we definitely have covered both bases in this game with a
we've
2-1 or a
gone
4-1 victory.
everywhere but a Chelsea win. Like,
Yes.
I mean, we've covered every kind of Liverpool victory in terms of the squeaky one, and props to Chelsea, and
Mm-hmm.
then your one as well, which is the no, we go out and do it. But neither of us have quite been able to get to the point. Well, not me anyway, where it's like maybe we might lose this.
No, I have it. I asked you about the halftime, like you had winning at halftime. I have it. I have us going
No,
into
I haven't. I
halftime.
haven't. No, I have us 0-0 at halftime.
Yes, I know. Yeah, or
Yeah,
yeah, right. You have
yeah,
it 0-0. I meant for
yeah.
myself. I have us winning at halftime at 2-0. I
Okay.
have us winning
Oof.
halftime 2-0. Then I see Chelsea coming out, scoring a goal, and then us scoring 2 goals after that to kind of just cement it and put it to bed.
Yeah, because like if I was just to be a normal person and I'd look at everything that's happened, I'd say, well, surely Liverpool will be 1-0 down, maybe
Yeah,
at
yeah,
halftime, and then come
yeah.
back and win 2-1.
And then come back and win it. Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
certainly.
'cause that's just us. So maybe that should be the way to go with it. But I'll still go with 0-0 at halftime because caginess and like unless this is going to sound super specific and me trying to cover all bases, but
Mm-hmm.
if there isn't an early goal,
Mm-hmm.
like a really early goal,
Mm-hmm.
first 5-6 minutes,
Which you
I
can
think
bet on out there,
yeah,
which is kind of crazy. That's how crazy the bets. I'm not that kind of a better. I'm not that involved in betting like that. But the fact that you can bet on who's going to score in the first 10 minutes, who's going to score in the first like 15 minutes, you can bet on like all that kind of crap. But go ahead.
yeah, no, I just see it getting a bit 0-0 at halftime unless it gets broken open early.
Yeah.
But let's just hope we have a game changer that we're not considering. Let's just hope one of the big boys is out there,
Yeah.
and we've got Salah and best case scenario, one of them starts, and
Yeah,
the other one is also on the bench. Nunes is on the bench, and Salah's fit to start.
yeah, yeah. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. And on top of that, the other point I think that you're with me on as well is let's hopefully see Joey break the goal barrier, and join the ranks. I know on Beijing Reds they were talking about how they're talking about who hasn't scored for us this year, and I don't know, has Kanate scored a goal for us in any competitions? Do you know? I don't think he has actually. I don't think he
I
has.
thought he got one in the Europa, but
That I'd have to look on that
I
one.
can't remember any. No, not from him in the league, man.
I don't think he has a goal this year. I'm looking to see if I can find some of the statistics for him. Nope, 0 goals this year. 0 goals, and I don't think he has an assist either. 0 goals. One big chance created this year, but 0 goals.
Yeah, he has no goals or no assists in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
At least in the league, especially in the league. Yeah, I'm looking at. He's had 18 games played, 13 started. He's been team of the week once, and he has 0 goals. He's had a couple. He's had his XG has been 0.44. I know you hate that statistic. And
what statistic?
And, the XG statistic, like using that XG.
No, I don't. That must be someone else.
Oh, I thought you didn't like it. Okay, well done. XG, XA, and the XG and the XA is 0.44 and 0.45, but he doesn't have any. I don't think he has an assist this year either. But he has.
Well, not really. No. I was just looking at him in last season. He had no in the league. He only played 1,500 minutes, which he's almost already at this season. He's at over 1,200, but he had no goals or assists in that either. Which I thought he scored a goal in the league last season. I really
Big up
did.
to Sam representing Chelsea Football Club. He'd rather be dead than be able to read. That's good.
Yeah, I know.
That's good.
Yeah, I know. Literacy is
literacy is yeah. I mean, hey, I will admit that the Reds that I know can all read, which is all well and good. Yeah. But you know what? To each is their own. To each is their own. To each is their own.
It's way too late for a correction.
Yeah, I know. I know. You already put the hearts. You put hearts behind it. You put like all the.
What's the KTB?
I have no idea what all that means. All the letters. That's a lot of letters, man.
Hang on, I'm gonna get. Hang on, give me a sec. Better dead than read. Exactly. Yes.
Right.
Something about Kevin De Bruyne leaving and them being idiots. Something about that problem.
No, I think it's KTB. So keep the blues. Something.
The blue flag flying high. Oh, there you go.
There you go. There you go. All right. Yep. We'll see. We'll see if Sam. We'll see if Sam has the same chest once the game is over. We'll see.
Well, apparently, according to Sam, he's English, so I reckon it's past your bedtime. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say, Sam, it's 10 past 10 over here. You know, maybe time for bed.
Yeah. Go put your blue pajamas on and go to bed. But big up. What's that?
No, your Jackson Martinez posters all of that.
Yeah. Put them
You know,
all
I
up.
think,
Yeah.
yeah, get them all
Your
up,
Tito
get them all
Jacksons,
ready
your
for
Nita.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. Well, look, we've given our score predictions. We've given our score predictions. We are going to be ending it here, but we are also going to be mindful of the fact that hey, tomorrow is going to be a bright and early day for myself. 8
can I
a.m.
call
is
out the
how
call?
early. 8 a.m.
Can
is
I
how
call
early
out the call?
the kickoff is at 8 a.m. So that means I'll have to like. Oof, that means I'll probably get home around like I don't know. I'll get home late and then I'll have to like it's only a couple hours of sleep probably for myself before this game. So I'll be eating breakfast, watching our Reds hopefully put two away in the first half and put two more away in the second half hopefully. But yeah, big up Brian for joining us today and you know obviously partaking in our fun little quiz earlier, our impromptu quizzo session there.
Get my ass kicked.
You need your buddies around you, your quizzo buddies there that can pick up all those things that you're just saying.
Yeah, can I just say
Yeah,
one thing?
do it.
Yeah, if anybody's that's normally in here is listening, I don't want to go all savage and all that, but come on, man, where were you tonight? I was disappointed now. There was a
Yeah,
lack of regulars tonight. I mean, you can tell. I think the energy was a little bit low tonight,
yeah, yeah,
and I think that's because we were lacking some of the usual guys in the chat. So if
yeah.
anybody's listening to the end of this show, or come on, you guys are pretty much what we like. What this whole thing is about. Like you know, when I'm in a chat
Absolutely.
somewhere, like that's what I'm into. Like I'm not a content creator, so like the chat needs to be around more. Chat needs to be involved more. So it's the
They're a
night
big
before
part of
cup
it.
final. Look, I
Yeah,
get it's a Saturday night, but come on, man. Like if anybody is listening or is watching back, that's normally a regular. You were missed tonight. Don't think it
yes,
didn't go unnoticed. Don't
yes.
think it did not go
Don't
unnoticed.
think it hasn't gone unnoticed that I've seen more comments from the Chelsea, the
Yes,
the the illiterate Chelsea guy than anyone else. So let me say that, Mighty
yeah.
Reds stepped up, stand up. That's what we're talking about. Stand up, Mighty Reds. But all
Yeah.
the same, we expect you to be here.
1892, Sam. 1892, Sam. 1892.
Yes, yes, there you go. There you go. There you go. So all right. So let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
No, seriously, come on now. All
Yeah.
nice, but you will get banned.
Yeah, I mean, like there's
You
a
will
little
get
extra
banned. Yeah.
assessment, like as in, there's only so much before eventually we just say, all right, you gotta go. But all the same, we'll see again. Like we'll see. Like I said with the pulling receipts thing and what I said with this, we'll see what happens tomorrow. A lot of people, win or lose, I'll be here. I do not care. Whether I get bantered or whether people come at me for whatever reasons they come at me for, because I know I have my Mighty Reds that will always have my back. Obviously Brian's here right now, but I mean, realistically, it's always comes down to that for me is that, Reds never cower. We never are scared, to say the least, of anyone that we have to face, and that includes the Blues. Okay, because there is always danger for those who are afraid. I am not afraid. I am not afraid. So, all right. Anyways,
Get him out. Ban him. Just
yeah,
ban him.
yeah,
Just ban him.
yeah.
You're gone, mate. You're gone.
That's
Sorry.
that's that's out. That's way over the
You're
line. All right. So we're going to be ending here. Big up to all the Reds. Big up to all the neutrals and the rivals,
Enjoy
except
life
for
as
one
it goes,
individual.
mate.
For one individual, took it way too far. Big up to everyone that's going to be supporting our club tomorrow, and we will see you on the flip. So until then, please do take care of yourselves. Continue to take care of your loved ones. It's very important because you know what? Ultimately, life is very fragile, and we have to make the most of it while we still have it, and we have the moments to share with our loved ones and our fellow Reds. I ask and do implore that you do so, because life is what we make it, and it is very, very special. So you being special to me, I ask that you stay here as a Red and always support the channel. Subscribe, set that notification bell on, and yeah, up the Reds. Until tomorrow, guys.
Yeah, there's a reason why we hate Chelsea. There you go.
There you go. Absolutely. All right. Take care, guys.